Hello and welcome back to Dare and Doing. I'm Will Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, Wilson Odobert. What? Fuck this name up already.
Odobert?
Wilson Odobert to Tottenham. There we land. Have you seen all those? Have you seen all the
love that guy.
That? Like,
yeah.
He's like, Mbappe to Real Madrid. Eat my ass. It's official. But we didn't.
We didn't even get there. We land.
We didn't even get there. We land. We didn't even get. Here we go.
My ass.
It was. Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
it's so good.
I saw a top 10 of them on TikTok yesterday. People doing
it. But we didn't even get any of that. Was that one of them? I saw one of them. It was like Gallagher, Atletico Madrid. I am circumcised. So stupid. But yeah, it was an old fashioned. It was like an old school announcement. Like no in the nose. One journalist, who is it? Sasha
Tagliafieri.
Yeah, the Belgian outlet. He sort of said it about 20 minutes before the announcement. Just said, "Look, it's imminent," and then everyone was like, "Hang on, what the fuck?" And then people were doing their like rushing in with their info of like, "Oh, look at his data, look at this, kind of makes sense." And then bang, like Burnley announced it, Spurs announced it. So it looks like we've signed our winger. First of all, I know we've like joked about how good is it that like Spurs are a part of a deal that came out of blue, like an old school sort of nostalgic announcement, because I feel like it ruins the excitement of a transfer that you know every stage to it, every step, and it's like sucked out of you. It actually becomes quite stressful thinking will it happen instead of just seeing it in the back of like the newspaper or I'm acting like I fucking never read a newspaper, but
just pick up the paper.
But like you see it on like BBC.
Spurs on Odobert.
Wilson Odobert, mate.
You seen him play? Never.
We were saying before we started, Spurs are like collecting all the players that like a large demographic of the stadium will not be able to pronounce.
100%.
Kulichevsky, Birdval.
To be fair, I'd imagine some of our fan base who probably got trouble pronouncing Archie Gray.
Yeah, that's true. I guarantee you, though,
a front three of Kulichevsky, Richarlison, and Odobert might send our stadium. Richarlison, Kulichevsky, and Odobert.
Kulichevsky. My dad says his name differently every single time.
Mate, same.
But I mean, to be fair, with this signing, has definitely got Danny Rose squaring up to the mirror in his bedroom.
Yeah, I had to Google him.
Yeah. I to be fair, I was aware of him, but I wasn't like I hadn't really seen. But I think I remember I was playing Burnley near the beginning of the season last year. Was he playing that game? I'm pretty sure, and I was like, that kid looks quite good. And then
when we beat him, you mean?
Yeah. Was it?
I don't know. I text them. It might have been because they had like quite a few wingers, isn't there? Koleosho and Amdouni as well, who all kind of play in that 10. Because I text them. I text Jacob Horsfall, who I'm sure a lot of you will know, Burnley fan, content creator, really good lad. I literally texted him this morning. I was like, right, tell me about Wilson Odobert. And he said, phenomenal. The exact words were phenomenal, mate. He then said, between me and you, but I'm just going to say it anyway. He said Chelsea wanted him early in the window, but I think Burnley said the price was too high, so Chelsea didn't go for him. He said a lot of stuff that he's kind of good at, which we'll come on and talk about. But he said he didn't go straight into the team. He had to wait for Koleosho to be. So it must have been Koleosho. He said he had to wait for Koleosho to be injured in December to get a real shot. And he came in at left wing, but moved into number 10, and that's where he's been the best for us as the link between the midfield, defense, and the attack. So I think that, and we'll come on and talk about kind of his strengths and stuff. But I kind of see it as like this is Spurs' best alternative to Desiree Doué. Someone who can play centrally, drift in there, good ball carrier, really strong in the duel, good in tight spaces, and can play out wide as well. I think he obviously, if you watch some of the compilations that have been flying around, I'm going to put a video out on my channel this afternoon or later on today about it. He does I think does profile best as a winger, but I think he was best for Burnley as a kind of a number 10 because he's so good at getting the ball, he's the link play. He's the link between the transition from defense to attack, because he's such a good ball carrier. So, he looks good, man. But yeah, like you said, on the pronunciation thing, one that I cannot forgive that my stepdad always does, and it's not even a pronunciation thing. He says instead of Manor Solomon, he says Solomon Manor every time. Every time. It's not like Son Heung-Min, where it's like, okay, some people will say Heung-Min Son and Son Heung-Min, and the way the Korean people have their names, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, Solomon Manor. It's not a fucking hotel. I don't understand. I don't get it.
That sounds like the shittest hotel you could possibly go to as well. Well, he won't be saying that long because apparently Solomon's on the transfer list. Apparently that we want to loan him. I think Dan Kilpatrick was saying about Wilson Odobert was saying, well, this sort of frees up the space for Solomon to leave now because we've got him in. But I don't. How excited are you with this signing? Like, considering he looks much more like a prospect move than that out and out elevator. Sort of, I think a lot of people are really open for a big name, and I see the criticism. Like, I do understand the criticism, and I do, because we wanted that starter to come in and elevate us to that next level. And we've signed a prospect. We've missed out on Neto and Eze because that was like they were the two strongest links. I know that sometimes strongest links can be a bit misleading and say that we weren't all out for him. But even Paul O'Keefe was saying, look, we bid for Neto. Our main target was Eze, and now that's sort of out of reach. Neto's gone to Chelsea, and now we've landed on Wilson Odobert, who's 19. Got relegated with Burnley. I do see people. I completely understand why people are worried about this signing. Not worried in the fact that he will come. He looks like he will come good. He's got experience in the Premier League, and he held his own in the Premier League. But I do understand people being like, "Well, here we go again." Like, we're never going to be that club that challenge if we're signing these prospects all the time. But the way I see it is, okay, he may have to. Same with Mikey Moore. Like, these players, they suit the system so well because of their age. They may have to slowly get integrated into the team. But I think at the beginning of the season, sorry, I'm going on like a massive rant here. At the beginning of the season, beginning of the transfer window, if you would have told the majority of the Spurs fan base that our signings up front to elevate us were Werner on loan, Solanke up front, Min Hyuk Yang, and Wilson Odobert, you'd be like, fuck off. I genuinely think like people would be like, no, because we want Eze, we want because if you look at these players in isolation, you instantly compare them to like our rivals and the players they have in that position. However, the way we're recruiting players, and this is almost, we are backing Ange because we are signing the players that are perfectly suited for the system. You have to look at it as a systematic sort of recruitment structure and not 100%. The players' names or reputations or abilities in isolation when you're comparing it to other teams. Because we're signing the players that are perfect. If you look at the data for the positions they're going to be filling, they are perfect. So it may be underwhelming. And yeah, we may miss out on big names, but it looks like we have a plan B or a plan is a succession plan like in place. So I think it's one of the things where you have to just trust it, because I don't think our recruitment under Ange so far since he's come in, they haven't done enough for you to doubt it. No, you got to just trust them. I mean, you look at last summer and the majority of the players we were bringing in. Okay, we brought in like Manor Solomon, etc. But the players that we brought in, the majority we didn't really know.
Well, the players that we've actually invested decent money in, the players that we've actually invested kind of money in.
Exactly. So, how excited are you about him? Do you see the criticism? And yeah, like what role do you expect him to have this season? Is he going to be starting? Is he going to be challenging Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski on the right, or do you think he's going to slowly be sort of integrated in with? Because the thing is, we got 3 really young, exciting players that fit the mold of an Ange winger in Min Yang, Odobert, and Marky Moore. So, what are your thoughts on it?
I totally. First off, I totally understand why people are not excited by it. I do think that the almost kind of the fact that it's come out of nowhere almost adds to the excitement. And even if you were, like you said, if this was one that we were working on all summer, maybe I think people would grow to it and understand why they're kind of targeting a profile of that sort of that kind of profile of player. But I do think where it's come out of nowhere, you naturally kind of get that transfer dopamine. You're like, oh, okay, right, this is a new shiny thing. But when you actually do dig into it properly, you can 100% see why they've done it. But given the fact that I do think the wide areas are such a big part in this team, I do understand why people would look at it with the view of, okay, well, we should have invested more money into that area. But then again, it's not like I didn't try. Like you can't, the Pedro Neto thing, for example, yesterday, we sort of knew it last week anyway, but Paul O'Keefe said yesterday that we had a bid rejected for Neto of around 40 million plus Oliver Skip, which I know people will laugh at that, but that's a very good bid. Like Oliver Skip is a Premier League quality player. I'm not saying he's a quality player, but he's a Premier League player. And 40 million on top of that. And also we don't know how that was structured. Obviously Chelsea came in with a deal that was more favourable for them. That didn't include a player and maybe better payment terms. Obviously, George Mendes has got his hands all over it. So, look, it's and when you kind of look through some of Wilson Odobert's compatriots in terms of some of the stats, in terms of where he ranks amongst successful dribbles for like under 21 players and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure the 3 players that were ahead of him in Europe for successful dribbles for players under the age of 21 were Lamine Yamal, Gruder, who's gone to Brighton, and Desiree Doué. Gruder and Doué were players that Tottenham both looked at this summer, I believe. Or Doué certainly, obviously, and Gruder was someone that a lot of Tottenham fans wanted. And again, the kind of hypocrisy that I've seen in some of the reactions to this transfer is that people will look at West Ham and they'll look at Brighton and then look at the signings of someone like Somerville and also Ruter, who's obviously gone to Brighton as well. People will look at it and thinking, well, why aren't we unearthing these kind of gems from the Championship? But and they're showing more ambition than us in these kind of signings. If Wilson Odobert stayed in the Championship this season, he would be at the level that Somerville is at. But by the end of this season, if Odobert, with the prospect that he has got, with the potential, the fact that scored first game of the season, Burnley fans absolutely love him. He would have been the Somerville of next summer if he just stayed throughout the Championship. And then other clubs would be going, oh, who's this kid? So, and if West Ham had signed him next summer, then a lot of our fan base would be going, hang on a minute, well, why haven't we done that? Or if Brighton had signed him, you can't really win. I just think that what you were saying there, and it's something that I wanted to talk about later in my video, like this idea of backing Ange and showing ambition. I think so many people just get too caught up in equating that to money. Like people, like of course, like you have to give your manager the sufficient backing in the transfer market. But Dominic Solanke is the most expensive signing of the summer transfer window in Europe so far. Like that's a fact. And Dominic Solanke is come out and look. And again, you can say what you want about the Solanke price. I understand, again, a bit like the Odobert thing. I understand why people are a bit skeptical of that. But if that's the player that your manager wants, and this is kind of the route you're going down as a club, it actually feels like there's this plan in place for what we want to do. Yeah. In terms of him as a player, I like the look of him. Again, like last season, I said it in the Fighting Cock group chat this morning. He's the sort of player that you don't really think too much about when you play someone like Burnley and think, oh, when he gets on a ball, you think he's a tidy little player, he's good. Don't really think of him too much. And then he gets a move to a big club and you think, oh yeah, I remember him. Like he actually looks all right. And then he goes on and is really good. So he kind of gives me those sort of vibes. And like I said, I do think him and Desiree Doué share a lot of similar qualities. I think it's quite easy to see why they've seen him as an alternative to that. And again, like, what would you rather do? Would you? And I get, again, people will look at Eze and think, why haven't we triggered the release clause? Why haven't we done it? All that kind of stuff. Eze is not a natural fit for that winger that they want. He's not. Maybe the money is still there to do something like that, and they might go for another experienced midfielder. Maybe Eze is someone they see as the midfielder rather than someone like a Conor Gallagher. Who knows? I doubt it, but that's not to say that still won't get done. But I do think it probably maybe rules it out a little bit. But I think that like I said, I think showing ambition and backing your manager isn't just always about the finances. I think it's about kind of giving him the right tools that he needs to play the way he wants to play. And again, said it with the youngsters that we've got coming through the academy, our own youngsters and the youngsters we've brought in, being in Europa League in kind of another sort of transition season and your second year, there's going to be a lot of game time for these kids. And I think Odobert will get a lot of chances in the Europa League and in the Premier League to come off the bench as well. You think about the high intensity way that we play, those wingers often get rotated out quite a lot. It gives us another reason to, maybe not from the start, but actually give Son Heung-Min a sufficient rest, someone that can play naturally on the left, maybe is better suited to the system than someone like a Timo Werner, even though I actually think that Werner is quite efficient. I think it makes sense, but I just think the timing of it is I think the fact that it's come out of nowhere will naturally give people that extra added bit of dopamine. But I also understand when we've gone for Pedro Neto and not got him, it felt like we were going to spend big on a winger. I do understand that. But then again, I would kind of point the question to someone like Yohan Bakayoko and say, well, would you rather spend 10 million or 15 million more on Bakayoko, who, looks great, don't get me wrong, never played in the Premier League before. This kid has played 30 games in the Premier League for Burnley last season, so at a young age, and shown good potential in a struggling side. So, yeah, and look, we've missed out on these kind of players before, and like in Eze the first time around at QPR, and Jared Bowen at Hull, and Jack Grealish at Villa.
Yeah,
and
that is true. Yeah, that's
Norwich.
true.
It's we can't really win. I feel like when you go and because I feel like with Solanke, the strike. I think Jack Pickbrook might have said this on the Athletic Spurs podcast. He sort of said that, look, you understand what Spurs are trying to do in terms of building this kind of hub for all of this amazing young talent. But the striker position is not one you can kind of scrimp on in terms of the finances and in terms of it being a young player. You've got to go someone
that is true.
That's more proven. And naturally, you kind of pay a price for that. And naturally, you pay even more of a price when he's English and he's kind of on the come up in terms of the way that Solanke's career trajectory is going. So I think they have backed Ange with kind of what he wants. I think there's something still needs to be added, maybe in terms of that more proven quality. So I understand people's frustrations, but I'm quite excited about this signing, I've got to say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually think though the fact that it has come out of the blue, announced so close to the start of the season, obviously it's Premier League weekend this weekend. I feel like that has sort of limited the toxicity, the fact that this was so quiet, because people can accept that now and then move on and get behind him because he's a 19-year-old kid. I think if this was a long, dragged out negotiation where we were haggling over a few mil and it was like, and the rumor was it would be like 30 let's say, I think it was 25 million plus add-on. So let's just say the rumor is it's 30 million euros. People would be going, but Bakayoko's right there. But go for Kubo, go for Rafinha, all these types of players. And it would get a bit toxic and then he'd sign. But I feel like the fact that it's come out of nowhere, people going, oh my God. And then now we're sort of doing the research of the data and a lot of people are going, I'm not sure about it, but what can you do? He's signed for us now. So all you can do now is get behind him. He's a 19-year-old kid. Let's show him the love that he's going to need coming into this next big stage. 100%. And hopefully he can hit the ground running. I think Postecoglou's also said about the importance of signing Premier League proven players. Because I mean, we're so close to the season. They haven't had a pre-season. We signed like a Yohan Bakayoko. He may need that sort of like bedding in period, and that he may be a slow burner. And I think, I mean, Odobert has proven it, isn't he?
Do you think Ange sees? Do you think? Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But also, like, you add it to the sort of context of, again, it's kind of like a bit like Solanke, right? Again, Bournemouth didn't struggle last season. They didn't. But when you kind of go back to the season before, people will look at Solanke's stats. I think he got 7 goals, 7 assists for Bournemouth, when they nearly went down and Gary O'Neill kept them up. Those 7 goals, 7 assists in the context of a struggling Bournemouth side that was fighting relegation as a striker that's kind of, feeding off scraps a little bit. That added context makes it more impressive. And then it makes the kind of arc into the next season under a new manager that plays better football. Make sense that little bit more, So it's like if Odobert can kind of look, whether he is ready for a Tottenham kind of level of step up or not, who knows? That remains to be seen. But he's obviously not going to come in and be first choice. Obviously, I think he will be in the squad on Monday, 100%, even if he's not had
I think so.
Pre-season with Spurs because he, played for Burnley on Monday night and scored a goal. This kid is, and again, it's a bit like Archie Gray, right? Where if you're not convinced, and again, you can't always use this logic, and I get why people are like, oh, okay, whatever, yeah. listen to how Leeds fans talked about Archie Gray when we bought him. And I know there was naturally more hype about Archie Gray. There always is with kind of English players. And, you know, he'd been touted for a while. But again, Burnley fans are like, look after him, lads. He gutted to let him go. Like, you know, he's a really special talent. Like, really kind of was a lot of, I think the common theme with what Burnley fans have said from what I've spoken to Jacob and a lot of other people have said, he was like their main creative spark. Like without him, they would have, you know, it would have been done far earlier, you know. And like I said, he played in midfield, he played out on the wing as well. He's got a lot of attributes which I like and a lot of attributes which I think make him, you know, he's not, you know, like I said, I'm making a YouTube video later on. I'm not going to make the title why he's perfect for Tottenham because he's a 19-year-old kid who we don't really know much about yet.
Happy clapper.
Yeah, exactly. Boo. Oh, you're happy. No ambition. Although I'm pretty sure I actually did do that with Min Hyuk Yang. But but you know what? It's a YouTube title, isn't it? But again, like he is, you can very much see why Tottenham have done it. And like you said, I think that Premier League, you can't say it's Premier League proven, but that Premier League experience will be vital going into next season. When you watch him, he looks like a kid who's not scared, willing to take on his man, good ball carrier, very good in kind of tight spaces, weaving in and out, loves a shot as well, not afraid, because that was one thing last season, which I think that was quite frustrating for some of our fans, that our wingers would cut inside. Even Sonny, who we know is cash money when he gets to the edge of the box and wants to curl it in the top corner, even he sometimes was just taking that extra touch and trying to drive into the box, or you're just thinking, hit it. And Kulusevski, again, I think we were talking about this were we talking about this on the pod the other day? Or maybe me and Seb were talking about this on a live, I can't remember. About Kulusevski cutting in from that left and those crosses and the shots. Like you think of the Norwich game and then the last game of the season a few years ago. I feel like we saw a bit more of a reluctance from our wingers last season when you've got the ball striking that someone Kulu's got and Sonny's got, and Odobert again. I don't think he scored necessarily many goals from it, but there were a lot of times where he would jink inside and look to get a shot off really quickly and bend it into the top corner, and often they'd be tipped around the post or he'd make the keeper work. And again, so when you've got Solanke kind of feeding off those kind of chances in the box as well, rebounds, etc., poacher. So yeah, I like it, man. I do like it. I think from one 19-year-old French winger to another, eh?
Yeah, he came through the PSG Academy as well. There's a photo of him and Javi Simmons, and have you seen his data compared to Nico Williams? It just looks really promising. And again, he did that in the Prem, and yeah, okay, he's going to come in. He's going to have a lot of time to sort of develop because he's 19 years old. There shouldn't be that much of an expectation on him, but he's going to fill out more. He's going to keep growing. He's going to get stronger. He's going to his trajectory is there, and if he fulfills his potential, we've got such an incredible player for 25 mil at the end of the day. So I think like he's one of those players that need the backing. He's 19. I mean, what were you doing at 19? 19 last year. Oh, yeah, I was going to uni, but again, like, but he's like playing for Spurs, like he's living the dream. But you got to give him. He's a kid. And I know I can see if he has a few bad games, like I can see people getting on his back straight away, and that's not what we need. He's gonna need time.
Yeah,
but yeah, if he fulfills his potential,
and also the people will get on his back. The people that will get on his back will kind of like will frame it as if we're not getting on his back, we're getting on the back of the board. It's like, yeah, but you're not backing the player. You know, it's like it's all well and good saying that, and it's like just get behind him. When he's in the ground, get behind. When he comes on, make a noise. You know, when he gets on the ball, get off your feet. Like because he's that kind of player, like what we saw from last season. And I actually think that it's funny, isn't it? Because it's like I thought when this happened, I was in one of my Spurs group chats, where it's like me and my old man and like his mates who I go with. I was kind of expecting the reaction to be like a bit negative, but my old man was like, I seem to remember him having quite a good game against us towards the end of the season last year. And I was like, that's the spirit. There we go.
He did. There was that Vicario save where Vicario like celebrated, and it was near the end
tipped
of
over
the
the bar, didn't it?
And it was it him to Lars Foster or something? And is it Lars Foster, the striker? Or?
Yeah.
Is that his name? But yeah, he just like a little shimmy. Looks like he's going to cut in. Bursts to the byline, whips it over the top, really good. And he's both footed, and his end product looks strong. I know. He didn't have too many goal contributions. He had more than Neto. You see that? He had more than Neto. So, dickhead.
Tottenham reject.
Didn't even want you anyways. We got Wilson Odobert, mate. Okay. But actually, you made a good point. It's like the striker. You need that experience. You need to be sure on the striker you bring in. These players, they're not part of the spine. They're not part of the structure. They fit into the system, but they're not the players that carry you through games. They just add that little bit of quality, creativity, and spark that contribute. And I know we need that 1v1 dribbly winger to sort of so people can double up on him and he can draw the defense out and make them panic, and then that opens up space for players like Solanke, players like Son, players coming into the box like Bentancur or Sarr, for example. But I was thinking 25 mil. What does this mean for the rest of the window then? Considering there's question marks over Spurs' spine at the moment with that number 6 role. We're going to get into Bissouma in a moment, but there is still there's still like heavy rumours that we're going to buy another midfielder.
Yeah,
and do you think we now have the funds to maybe go a little bit bigger than we were expecting on a central midfielder or a number 6? Because our spine is looking strong. We got Solanke, big Dom Solanke up front. We got.
I feel like we've got. Southampton fan. Have you seen him? The one that's.
What he's like? Yeah. That's like all the Arnie Schlott memes are coming out already. When they went to many rejected him, it was like Arnie Schlott trying to convince him to join Liverpool. But yeah, and then we've got obviously. Bissouma. The question marks over him, but he does fit the system well. And then the 2 centre backs and the goalie. The spine is getting there.
Yeah. What do you think about what do you think about the Locatelli links? Do you think that's just agent chat again?
Anything from Italy, I really don't believe. Yeah, I genuinely. Or same with Portugal. You hear something about Portugal, you hear something about Italy, and you're like, I mean, I'd love to get excited about Locatelli. I think in a possession-based team, Locatelli would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also, he is a bit of a box crasher. I think he would be the sort of like versatile midfielder that Ange would like, in the fact that sort of he can play 6, he can play 8. He pushed Bentancur out of the team, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I was going to say he's quite similar to Bentancur. Maybe just
that's the thing. Maybe
a little bit more industrious than Bentancur, I'd probably say.
Yeah. I think Bentancur sort of glides a bit more, didn't he? But I think. But I mean. That sort of position is something we should be looking for, I guess. Someone that can play 8 or 6, but I still think but the thing is, the 6 market just isn't there. Like, it's not really. Like, you need to be as sure buying a striker that as you do buying a 6. They're 2 the most expensive positions in the world of football right now, because people know that spine needs to be sure. You need to have a goal scorer, and you need to have someone that dictates the game, and the market isn't really there at all at the moment. Unless you want to take a gamble, it's not there. And I think, I mean, do you know what, actually? I thought João Neves going to PSG for like 60 mil plus Renato Sanchez could be a steal in the end, because everyone was talking about like 100 mil for him. He had one good season. People talk about 100 mil. That's how much like the 6 market is in sort of inflated. In demand. Inflated. So
because of how in demand they are,
Yeah, exactly. So do you take a risk on a 6? But what are you expecting then for the rest of the window?
I still think we'll sign another midfielder. I do, but I still think it's going to be more of that kind of. I still would not be surprised if it's Conor Gallagher. I just would not be surprised.
Fuck that. No.
Really? It's
because he's already set. He's already set up for going Atletico Madrid. Like, I don't think Ange would want him to die. Like, Ange is so sure on it's Spurs or nothing. He was getting a tour around Atletico Madrid stadium.
Yeah, good point. But then again, if like this comes up, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think
suit the system down to a T.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that good output last season as well. I don't know. I wouldn't be unhappy if that did happen. Put it that way. I'm not saying we should go and necessarily 100% go and do it. But if that was the end result and it's Odobert and Gallagher, I know certain sections of the internet will be fuming about that, but I wouldn't actually mind it. I think if you had a summer, I still think we're short in defence. I still think we could do with another defender. Because when I was doing a stream the other day, kind of building the squad for next season, in terms of balancing that squad for Europe is quite hard. And I ended up basically what we did was, if anyone missed it, we basically I gave kind of the you guys, the viewers on my channel, kind of an opportunity to like build your squad for next season. And it was good fun. It was fucking complicated, but it was good fun. But basically what we ended up doing was essentially leaving Ben Davies out of the European squad to get some of these players in. I think the two signings that were made were Loco and Eze. And that, didn't put us in the greatest position when it comes to the European club trained rules. And we had to, so it basically meant that we didn't register Forster or Davis in the European squad, which I actually don't think you can afford to not register Ben Davies, because I think if you're having Mickey van der Ven play, again, what I think they might do is play Dragusin and Gray at centre-back in some of those European games. I think Gray will get minutes as centre-back. I really do believe that.
Possibly. He's a ball-playing centre-back. He may be somewhat limited in that position, but the sort of distribution he offers is needed, especially next to... Dragusin isn't the best at finding passes between the lines.
Yeah,
like Romero.
Gray is Romero.
Gray's
I'm
really
not
good.
saying he is now. Yeah. Like in pre-season when he was playing at centre-back, Gray was the Romero of the two out of him and Davis. He was the one that was stepping up, breaking the lines with his passing, because he's a midfielder and he's a fullback, so he's good at playing in kind of those tight spaces. And onto the midfield thing, like I do think Gray, although I love Archie Gray, and I think he's got a massive future, I do think this season will be more of a bedding in period for him than someone like Lucas Bergvall, who I think is, can only really play in... Well, he can play anywhere across the midfield, but he's limited to midfield, whereas Gray is so versatile. I think that Gray will have more of a bedding in period, filling in at right back and centre back and in midfield at points throughout the season. But I feel like the long-term plan is, okay, right, that's your other midfielder. That is your... maybe number 6 going ahead. But again, he's only going to be 19 next year, so there's a lot of pressure. But so I think they do need to go and buy someone, and like we're going to talk about Bissouma. I don't think Bissouma gets moved on in this window, but who knows what stranger things have happened.
Do you think, this is a bit out there, and I've just thought about it, and I think it's been sort of touted about, and it's been like, well, no, because he'll have to be on the turn, getting man marked, and that's not his game, and then we lose him at centre back. But do you think there could be an element of, not necessarily in playing as the out-and-out 6, but just joining the midfield in like parts of the game, like almost how John Stones did for Man City?
Yeah.
You know how like he'd venture out into midfield and give that extra sort of transitional defence.
It's hard. It's so hard. I get what you mean. It's hard though, because it's hard when you compare it to City, because it's like, that 4, when it's a 4 at the back, it's Walker, Stone. Say it's Walker, Stone. They've got more of a natural right back that can cover at centre back than we do.
Yeah, no. Exactly,
however, if it's Archie Gray at right back, then you could make a nice little back three of Gray, Van der Ven, and then. But then again, would you want a Doggy tucking in as that third centre back?
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Not the way we play.
But if you say if a Doggy was injured, a good way around it is maybe Gray, Romero, Van der Ven, Dragusin and Van der Ven, and then Gray, Van der Ven and Dragusin becomes your back 3. Romero goes and joins
Steps
Rodri.
into Bissouma or Rodri, Bentancur,
in a double pivot, and then you've got fucking Kulusevski, Johnson, Odobert, like Madison, Bergvall, maybe Son,
Solanke.
Then I'm seeing the 3-2-4-1. I'm seeing it there.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm seeing the vision. I'm seeing it. We're cooking.
But then it's like, I think Porro is way more important to us than people kind of make out. But then again, could you, I don't know, like...
And a doggy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If the Doggy got injured, I think that's quite a good way to get around it. Because again, like that was the solution we went with towards the end of the season, wasn't it? Obviously playing Dragusin and Van der Ven at left back. Obviously Romero was playing naturally at centre back. And I do worry about breaking those two up, Romero and Van der Ven. They are kind of yin and yang and just,
Yeah, they are,
They are exceptional. But yeah, no, I'd see. I feel like we've landed on something a bit there. To be fair, because I do think Gray will. I don't think he'll rush Gray in midfield. I don't. But I think he'll give him a lot of minutes across the pitch.
Yeah, I think so. He's a proper Swiss Army knife, and he just needs game experience. Even if that is, and the majority of the time he'll be filling positions as a right back that he would be if he was playing the number 8 anyway. So because he's so fluid.
Exactly. I can't remember if we said this on Monday, but someone said at the game on Saturday that he will be a bit like Eric Dyer when Dyer first came to Spurs.
Oh, really?
He played it because when Dyer first came, he was playing at right back.
He scored.
Then he transitioned to the midfield, then centre back. Like I do think that hopefully it follows more of a. I mean, Eric Dyer was a good player for us, but I do think it could almost follow a similar kind of. You're the utility man, like We need you because you can play a lot of different positions. Whereas, like, I think Bergvall is more likely to have a bigger breakthrough year than Gray, and then Gray over time just really goes like that because of how useful and versatile he is to the squad. So, and again, the young players don't want to put too much pressure on them, and we've got good depth in that area. But it'd be interesting to see if they do add one more, because again, now with the Bissouma stuff, you're looking at now, is it going to be someone who can play in that 6? But the talk all summer has been energetic box crasher, good dribbler, good in transition. Jacob Ramsey, Conor Gallagher,
Bentancur, Papsar.
Yeah, Scott McTominay.
Scott, fuck off.
But that kind of profile, like a Ramsey would literally be perfect for what they want. Yeah. But has that changed things now with Bissouma's fucking idiocy? Who knows?
To be fair though, I feel like if Scott McTominay was called Scott McTominay, people would be like, what a baller, get him in. He's perfect.
If Scott McTominay was playing in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Scott McTominay. Scott
McTominay.
Fuck
knows what accent that was.
Scott Muller for Bayer Leverkusen.
Scott Muller.
If that, I'm saying it now. But
Here we go.
Eat my ass.
No, to be fair, he does. You just think of the outrage. I don't know. I see it, but I just
I don't think we should do it. Yeah, I don't think we should do it.
But I do. How much? So, lastly, on like incomes, the rest of the incomes, because it does look like we've heard about 3 more signings. Potentially, maybe if we move on to Skip, maybe that'll force our hand in signing maybe like a Kyle Walker-Peters, a left back. But how much money do you reckon we have now to splash on a midfielder? Because it 40 mil going to 25 mil, there's a lot of more like financial leeway we now have when we're looking at midfielders, where before Paul O'Keefe was saying, look, that big we're signing Solanke, then it will be Eze or Neto. That's a lot of investment.
Yeah,
and then we'll try and be and then we'll try and be smart and sign an affordable, like not a very expensive midfielder that sort of fits the system. Now we have a lot more financial leeway. So do you think that will impact the type of player we then bring in as maybe a number 6? And how much do you reckon is left over?
I reckon there's probably about... That's probably a good, maybe, like you said, if you're kind of using it as the logic of we were prepared to pay 40-odd million for Neto, then that's 25 mil, maybe frees up more fun, maybe 30, 40 mil potentially.
But 25 mil for a midfielder would have been like, that's a budget signing. Like that's not like going out, especially in today's market. I kind of feel like, okay, we've been bigging up Wilson Odobert, but I kind of feel like now we have to go big on a 6. I don't want to sound like, because I mean, I'll see at the end of the window. Like, I don't want to like put all my eggs in one basket and get like kick up a fuss or I'm not going to let it frustrate me. But I don't see any reason why we can't now go, say we sell Skip, Lo Celso, we get a couple more players out the door, because we need to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe not Skip because of the club trained issues, but I kind of see it being like, okay, Bissouma's done his thing. I still see Bentancur as a better number 8 than a number 6. Again, there may not be, like I was saying, there may not be those players on the market, but if we can find a gem as that number 6, go big on him, and then I think we're looking at a really, really positive window, considering the players like that will come into the fold, like Heung-Min Yang as well, who again, like I was saying, it fit the system perfectly. They're just young and they need time to grow. But that signing that elevates us. But then again, sorry, I keep sort of just fucking flip-flapping like mid conversation, but that player would have been there from the beginning of the season. Not now. It's not an opportunity, because that player is so vital to the. Like, do you know what I mean? But
then again, I suppose they didn't. I suppose they didn't anticipate this happening with Bissouma, did they? And I think Anne just, he kind of put his eggs back in the Bissouma basket and was like, okay, because that's the frustrating thing about Bissouma, is that his performances in pre-season have kind of divided people a little bit. I've kind of more towards the side of I think he's actually been quite good and sort of shown, close to the level that we kind of come to expect from him. but this is kind of, we didn't really see this coming, which just makes it even more annoying. So I suppose they would have been like, okay, we're gonna trust Bissouma and just see what happens, and then right, next summer, then we go for it. But I do think now, I think, like you said, I think that because again, we'll save it for a bit while we talk about Bissouma. But I think it's we should talk about now.
Well, yeah, that was next in the running order. Order. Actually,
should we talk about FPL? Should we talk about FPL quickly as well?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, shout it out.
Yeah, so we've got an FPL league that we set up yesterday. I don't know whether we can maybe when you put this out, maybe put a code on the screen. Or we'll put it in the description. We'll put the link in the description to join it. Obviously, this will be out before the deadline anyway. It is. I can read it out as well if that helps. It's a pin. If you go on my Twitter, it's the pinned tweet. We're giving away a £50 football shirt, a classic football shirts voucher to the winner of our FPL league. We've got a load of people in there, which is mad. I think we've got more people in the FPL league than we've got subscribers on the podcast, which is class. Maybe not.
Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah, what's going on? Make sure you fucking subscribe. You have to
subscribe to join. That's the rule.
Yeah, exactly. We passed over 500 the other day, which is class, and we're building.
Thank you so much.
So go and join the code. It's go and join the league. The code is CJ6F96. £50 classic football shirts voucher on the line. No Arsenal players in your team, all right? Fucking no Arsenal players.
Yeah. I said it earlier. I feel like if you do use Arsenal players and you win, you have to get everyone else a £50 voucher.
Everyone in the league. So that could cost you like $5,000.
Do you want to risk it?
Exactly.
Is it worth it?
You know the limitations. And I will be looking for all the teams, and I will be kicking people out who have got Arsenal players in the team, right? I will be doing it. I will do it before the deadline tonight. So make sure 6:30 tonight. No, 7 o'clock whenever the game kicks off. Make sure there's no gooners in there. But go and join the league. It's on my pinned tweet, so go and have a look at find that out.
Nice one. So moving on to Bissouma then. So he has been suspended for the Leicester game this weekend for the laughing gas video, and just come out saying that he's got like a lot of trust. I'm like paraphrasing, but is it paraphrasing? But it's he said there's a lot of trust to build now with him and Ange and him and the players, because he's let everyone down with his behaviour
and the fans.
And the fans, fucking hell. Like, we've got so much to look forward to, and now like Bissouma's doing that. So do you think having one game ban is just, or do you think it's a bit harsh? Because I think one game, I think that's justified, and he needs to know that. And I think as a club, we're heading in that direction of those things are make or break in whether you have a future at the club, because
100%.
It affects the season. It does affect the season. It affects him, his confidence, because he's now being dropped. It's a messy situation. It affects then the team's rhythm as we sort of like gain momentum into the season. It's the beginning of the season. The season ain't even fucking started yet. And also it affects the manager's plans, because he would have been first choice number 6, 100% he would have been. And like we were saying, maybe that now influences what we do in the market with that leftover money we have. So how much do you think this actually impacts, like how significant do you think this moment is in our upcoming season? And do you think it's just?
I think it's quite big, to be honest, because I think like you mentioned kind of with Andrew's quotes, he said that there's trust to be rebuilt with the players, rebuilt with him. And like I said, the fans first and foremost really as well, because, he is skating, I think, on very, very thin ice now. The patience with him kind of, I think people maybe went a bit over the top with Bissouma last season in terms of the criticism that he got. I think they did.
Yeah, I think so.
But that you can't change that. So the general perception of the fan base is that this is someone from the fan base, that this is someone that has maybe had too many chances now, and this is the last one. And he has got, I think Mark Nesbitt tweeted this from the Fighting Cock, said like, he's got 10 or 12 games to prove to everyone, and if not, you're gone. Because people will not. I think you said it on Monday as well. This has fucked him over with the fans as well, because with the drop off that we saw last season, people will expect him to hit the highs of the first 10 games every single game now. Otherwise, it's not good enough. And I think that maybe that's a bit unfair. But I actually don't think it is, because he has had so many chances now to prove himself at Spurs, prove himself to Postecoglou, and prove himself to the fans that he is someone that can be relied on. And like you've said, this whole podcast where we've talked about the midfield, that number 6 position is as important as any position on the pitch. As the striker, it is the number 6 in terms of the way we play, in build-up, in defensive transition. It's so important to Tottenham. And you've just pissed it all away by doing something like that.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world. People have done worse. And I understand as well, like, I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's a very difficult subject. But like, I understand why people are saying, well, hang on a minute. Well, why has Bissouma been punished in this way, but Bentancur wasn't punished for what he did, etc. My kind of stance on that is that I agree. And I think that there is scope for him still to be punished by the Premier League and the club for sure. And I'm sure he would have been. But I think Bentancur's thing is about education. Whereas Bissouma,
and hopefully,
whereas Bissouma is like, you've done that yourself. Like, that's not making an excuse for Bentancur in the slightest, by the way, because it was fucking stupid, really stupid, incredibly ignorant, and racist comments. You know, that's not beat around the bush. That's what they were. But I think that with Bissouma, you don't need to educate someone to not put stuff like that on social media. You know, and again, you could say to Bentancur, well, in this day and age, you shouldn't need to fucking educate someone or not to say those kind of things, but I think in terms of cultures, it's very different. But anyway, I do think that I didn't expect this at all. I did not expect this. I expected Ange to sort of say, we've dealt with it internally. I'm not answering any questions on it, but sort of be like, bat it away. You know, that's kind of what I expected to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it shows great leadership. I really do. Because I think, like you said, in terms of the way that how we're going as a club, I just don't think any of this with a young group, like something that we didn't mention earlier, those 16 players that Postecoglou has signed since he's been here, the average age is 21, I think, just under 22. Yeah. So he's building a young squad where you need, you know, the experience in this squad is few and far between. And Yves Bissouma is 27 years old, one of the most experienced players, a player that tried to put his hat in the ring last season to be the captain. You know, many Spurs fans were talking. I think I even said it. I think I would like to see him as part of that leadership group because of what he proved to Postecoglou throughout pre-season, how he turned things around and how he was there at the start. But all of that's gone out the fucking window now. I'm not saying he's not got any future Spurs. And I think that, look, I'm very much open to him coming back in after he sat this game out. But he's got a lot to prove.
He has, yeah. He's just given himself so much more to do, isn't he? Whereas I feel like he had a good preseason and everyone was sort of going, yeah, Bissouma looks good again. Like, yeah, let's see this Bissouma like at the beginning of the season. And then he's just done this. And it actually is like stupid to the point where you're thinking, like, how are you putting that on Snapchat? Like, what are you doing it anyway? She's putting it on Snapchat. I think that's what Flav said. It was like, Flav was like, on the Fighting Cock that you were on, he was like, you shouldn't be doing it anyways as an athlete. Like, again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but as an athlete, you're a role model to young kids and you set the tone, especially, and a role model to the players around the team because you're one of the eldest, like you were saying, and you're setting the tone by doing like laughing gas and then posting it on your social media. Like, who the fuck does that? But like you said with Bentancur, it is completely the Bentancur thing. I don't like the way that the club dealt with that. I think I don't think, but this is a separate issue. But I think with Bentancur, he's still getting investigated by the FA. Is he investigated by FIFA, or was that the water bottle thing he did? And also, let's hope he's getting education behind closed doors, sort of thing. Like, it's being dealt with behind the sort of media attention, because that, I think with those cases, you need to sort of enforce education and punishment. But with the Bissouma thing, this is more you're doing a physical act that has let down the team, and you're doing something illegal as well and posting on social media. I think
exactly. That's
I was surprised by Ange coming out and saying, but I didn't think Ange would talk about it much. He's come out and he was being very firm in the press conferences.
And also, to be fair to him, neither. And to be fair to him, he didn't hang Bissouma out to dry or anything. He said that, like, he's been very apologetic to me, very apologetic to the players and all that kind of thing. But he was like, this is just something that needs to happen. You know, it's not as if it's, which I think the way that, and I'm sure we said it on Monday, like, I'm sure he probably absolutely fucking bollocked him. Probably absolutely did. But
I think he did.
The way he handled it in the press conference, I think is a testament to his kind of leadership. I do really believe that. And again, I know, like, I fucking love Ange and will guzzle anything that man says, but I do think that the way he handled it shows true leadership, true empathy, and kind of understanding of the feelings of the fans and the rest of the group as well. And look, I don't think it. I don't think it's going to affect the other players too much. I actually think it's a great opportunity for someone else to come in and say, right, this is my fucking shirt now. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep doing stupid stuff like this, Bentancur, who again was a bit in and out of the team, who we've obviously just talked about, even for the young lads, Bergvall, Archie Gray, what a chance this is now to go and get in and stay in, really. Because, again, we're going to be doing this pod next Friday before the Everton game at home on Saturday and doing our predicted lineup. And there's a very good chance that Bissouma will come straight back in. There's also a very good chance that if someone gets in and plays in that number 6 position on Monday at Leicester and has a fucking blinder, that he's got to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, what he does, winners don't do. And if you're trying to change the culture, you need to get rid of things and incidents like this. And again, we got such a young squad. He's now been set. He's now an example because he's now been punished, and actually he's been punished publicly, not in a hanging him out to dry way. It was very
just
needed to happen. This needs to happen. Behavioural, in a behavioural sort of sense. And it sets an example for the rest of the team, and it's changing the culture of the club. Thinking, okay, now you need to, and it's so much. It's been enforced so many times from Ange. It's about that human side, that behavioural side, as much as what you do on the pitch.
Yeah.
And it's disrespectful when you're doing that. On your socials, doing that in your personal life, and you're posting it, and it's disrespectful to your teammates and to your fans who pay money to watch you play football, and you're doing that. You're not conducting yourself in a professional manner. But let's move on to the Leicester game then, because obviously he's not going to play. So what do you think the midfield is going to be? What do you think the starting lineup is going to be?
Yeah, I think the defense kind of picks itself. Although we were just talking just quickly then just about. There was a picture that went round from Spurs' socials about it was an 11 in training. Did Spurs put it on Twitter? I saw Georgia Killier. Was it on Spurs' page?
Yeah, sorry. There was a cut there. I went for. I was fucking busting for a piss. So I was like, yeah. So anyway, we did talk about the training picture.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has seen that.
Well, it had.
Didn't feature Porro or Maddison. Yeah, it didn't feature Porro or Maddison. And it's like it's Vicario, Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, Bergvall, Gray, Solanke, Moore, Kulusevski, Bentancur, Son. And it's like there's a few players in there that you don't think will miss out, but might give you an idea of, like you said, the kind of structure that Spurs are going for. But I do think it will be the good thing about that is to me that I think Udogie is probably match fit to play. I think he probably will play, and so that makes me think it will just be the back four that we all know and love. I think Bentancur in midfield. I think it will be. My gut is Sarr and Maddison, but maybe it will be Bergvall.
You want it to be Bergvall, don't you? I kind of want it to be fucking Bergvall as well. But it's a bit something new, a bit exciting. Yeah.
But Seb made a good point when we were talking about this on Monday, and it's like I do think that, you kind of got to give Maddison the chance to sort of prove that he's still that guy, and it's like. Also, there's no rush with Bergvall, is there? Like, it's great to sort of give him 20, 30 minutes off the bench now. I think we're all getting excited a bit, but I would love to see it. But I do think it'll probably be Bentancur, Sarr, and Maddison. And then I think it'll be Kulusevski, Solanke, Son. I don't see a world in which Kulusevski doesn't play after even if it is on the right where he maybe isn't suited anymore, and maybe that's not where his long-term future is. You can always take him off after 60, 45, 60 minutes.
No, of course.
I think that I think with the way that he's played in pre-season, the way that he applies himself, we talked about this on Monday, how important he kind of is to the team. Or we talked about this before, like in terms of his pressing, everything like that. I just don't see a world in which he doesn't play him on Monday.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'd love to see him, Solanke, Son, lean the line, Maddison in behind, like leading that press. And
that front three's got aura.
Yeah, 100% aura, and it's a big front three as well. It is a big front three, sort of charging at you, very physical. But
all got signature celebrations as well.
Quick, signature celebrations, yeah. Which is the best one? Rank them out three. Go on.
I like Kulusevski when he does the What was the basketball player that did it?
Isn't it that one? LeBron James.
Is it LeBron James? Yeah, I like that because I like the fact that why is I said it the other day, like when Kulusevski scores, he was just like talking to himself. Have you noticed that?
yeah, he's like fucking swearing his head off, like he's angry or something.
I love that. I love seeing it. It's like the City when he scored the equaliser against City when he was doing the LeBron celebration, and like he's just screaming like himself. I'm just like, I love this.
What do you think he's saying?
I think he's saying you are the fucking man. He actually didn't he come out and say
I feel like he does say
game,
stuff like that.
I'm sure after the City game he was like, oh no, what was it in the Players Tribune where he came out and said that, was it the City one where he assisted the winner for Kane?
I'm him or something.
Yeah, he was like giving it all
something like that. Yeah.
Fucking, I love him. He actually might be my favourite player at the club.
Do you think?
He actually might be.
Yeah.
I just love him.
So I feel like he'll benefit. Solanke playing alongside him will benefit him so much because he has that sort of, again, he has that player to aim at when he's swinging it into the back post, that sort of area.
So Solanke will run in the channels and allow Kulusevski to come into the middle as well.
To drift, yeah, exactly. Maddison, Solanke playing up front is going to give him pressing and pushing that defence back is going to stretch that sort of the gap between the defence and the midfield. It's going to open pockets of space up for Maddison, and and he has.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I didn't have anything else to add. I don't think.
Oh, I was going to say. Well, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say that. I think James Alcott said about it in his Solanke video. I think this does. I've been very critical of Maddison throughout the summer, but again, it's a bit like the Bissouma thing where you know what the level is, what he can hit.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually think signing Solanke is a big beneficiary to Maddison because I remember talking about this in my the first video I did on my channel, the Eze video, which RIP, obviously. I was talking about the fact that I don't know if you remember, like about Eze drifting into those central pockets and having Mateta to play, almost use as a bit of a springboard. I think Solanke is so good at that with his back to goal, of bringing other players into play. But how many times do you see it when Maddison plays in that sort of left half space, floats between the lines, wraps a ball with the outside of his foot into someone in the middle and moves? Maddison loves that. And I think actually having a striker to play off will benefit Maddison a lot more. And like you said, in terms of Solanke's movement, will open up a lot more space in terms of allowing Kulusevski to drift inside and have two kind of number 10s in Kulu and Maddison. And also, like with Porro, Porro is great when he inverts as well, but Porro is also fucking brilliant when he goes on the outside and gets a cross in. So I think you're going to see a lot of fluidity. I don't think this Ange ball season 2, I think Porro is going to invert in the build-up, but I think you're going to see a lot more of Porro playing wide as more of a wing-back this year as well. I genuinely believe that.
I think what will happen as well is that experiment of, I know Maddison plays predominantly on the left-hand side. He sort of drifts a little bit wide and forms a triangle with, let's say Son and a doggy, and it works well. But I feel like you could do the exact same thing with Kulusevski in the advanced 8, and you could have him drift into the right-hand side where he's comfortable sort of getting into the half spaces, and him linking up with a 1v1 dribbler. I think that could be devastating. Like him and say Odobert. And I mean, I think give Odobert time. I don't think we want to put too much expectations on him, but eventually, imagine like him in the half spaces drifting wide and linking up, making triangles with Porro, Odobert, or whoever we have, maybe Heung. I don't want to put too much expectation on him, but I think that works well with that sort of that position. Kulusevski playing more centrally, playing almost as like an inverted winger and doubling up on that fullback with another right winger who can go either way, and it just worked so well.
Like he did
with Conte. That was the best Kulusevski, arguably. So especially in when he first come in.
Players that you see them tweets where it's like, what player will you defend to the death? Like, what player will you never give up on? Kulusevski is that for me. I think Kulusevski has got. I'm going to say it. I think he's got world-class potential. I genuinely think he's like a ridiculously good footballer. I will always come out to bat for Kulusevski. I absolutely love him because he's so, we've spoken about it so much already. I fucking love the guy. But yeah, like I said, and also if you were to bring on, say Spurs are either chasing a game or how many times did we see last season? And I think this is why Odobert is again quite a good signing because I don't know if we were talking about it before we started, but the goal that he scored against Luton on Monday in the Championship is him being released in behind, running onto it with pace and scoring. That's what we want from Brennan Johnson. And if he's kind of got that experience, how many times did we see last season where Spurs maybe 1-1 at halftime, 0-0, losing, need to unlock the game a little bit more, need to kind of create these chances? He'll take Sarr off, he'll take Bentancur off, drop Kulusevski into the 8, playing from right wing, bring Brennan Johnson at half time. gives you another option now. Bring Odobert on the right wing at half time. And then you've got Kulu drifting into the pockets. And how good is he at sort of just kissing the ball, finding that pass into the space for that right winger or Porro to run onto it and either get crossing for Solanke.
100%.
Just seeing the vision. Like, I really like this Spurs team.
Yeah.
I do. Do you know what? I think it's so mad how I feel like so many other non-Spurs fans are really optimistic about Tottenham this season. And I get why Spurs fans maybe are a bit more reserved. Yeah, we've been here before with certain windows. We've not shown enough ambition, not blah, blah, blah. When you kind of piece all of this together in terms of some of the profiles in the squad, and I think Kulusevski is so key to that, I think it's really exciting. I think it's really exciting going forward.
Yeah.
Sort out a few issues at the back. I think we're gravy. I genuinely think we're a really good team.
Yeah. Like think about that. Sorry, I'll go back to it. But think about that right hand side. The way it works and the fluidity between, say, Kulusevski coming in advance 8, Brennan Johnson, let's say, and Porro. Porro can even tuck in, occupy the midfielder that's trying to get to Kulusevski.
Yeah.
Their left back doesn't know what to do, whether to commit to Kulusevski or stay back and try and mark Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson's hugging the width, and then you've got Solanke in the middle thinking, "Fuck me, when and where is this cross going to come from? Kulusevski, Porro, or Brennan Johnson?" Because they're going to have Kulusevski's going to have the in swinger. Brennan's going to have the byline cutback, and Porro's going to have the sort of outswinger.
The whip low one round.
Solanke's there; he'll fucking finish everything.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It causes so many problems for the way a defense sets up. I mean, you see it with Newcastle. They were so good 2 seasons ago at beating a low block because they'd have almost dummy overlapping runs.
Yeah,
they'd have an overlapping runs that would push the defense back. Or would someone come short and the defense would step up, and then the overlap run, and then someone the movement that Solanke has, is similar a little bit to like Isak.
Yeah.
And they then catch the offside trap and almost it's like a free goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we could sort of. I think
Solanke would score so many goals for Newcastle.
I think he would.
Random shout, and I think
that is really random.
Kind of look at but it was just as you were talking about it there, and it
he would. He actually
would have been a really good. And again, it comes back to, I know we're going a bit full circle here, but the reason I kind of wanted to say that was, I think if Newcastle would sign Solanke, and he'd got 20 goals next season, which is very possible for Newcastle and for Spurs, we'd all be looking at it going, well, why the fuck didn't we sign him? So maybe we've actually, signed. But I think you're right. The one game that sticks in my mind last season from Spurs is Luton at home, where we were 1-0 down and we made those changes and brought Johnson on, and Johnson, excelled, and Porro was making these inverted runs into the space with Johnson hugging the touchline and vice versa as well. Porro was unbelievable in that second half. Do you remember the home game against Luton?
Yeah.
Crosses coming in from left, right, fucking everywhere. Johnson and him were just like, when it clicks with Porro and Johnson, I know Johnson is really frustrating sometimes. It can be genuinely devastating. But it's just about finding that consistency with Johnson. But again, that's why I'd probably keep him on the bench, because I think Kulusevski has had a pre-season where it's like, don't drop me now. Don't drop me. Keep me in the team. Let's go. I'll do it anywhere for you. Like, he's kind of like that sort of player. Like, and again,
he's in that flow state, Kulusevski, at the moment.
100%, and I think it actually took him a while to get back to that point. So don't stop it now. Ange knows what's best, and in terms of just taking on Leicester, and he might see it differently. And I totally get that. Like, he's the fucking manager at the end of the day, right? But I think you're so right. Kulusevski is in that. That's exactly what it is. It's that flow state, which I think sometimes for someone like him, bearing in mind he's playing all these different positions, it's actually quite hard to find. And he's taken him a while to get back there. 21-22 Kulusevski, he was basically in it from the moment that he came. Well, it took him a couple of games, and then throughout bang to the end of the season. From the start of the following season through to like the World Cup was in it, and then he really struggled to find it again after that.
Yeah,
it feels like he's in it now. Make the most of it, make the most of Kulusevski in this state. I think you're so right.
It's like a routine, or like it's like when you go to the gym or something, and you're like so intense about going to the gym. You tell everyone you're going to the gym. You've been like 2 weeks now, every day, like 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm at the gym. Then you like say Christmas comes up, you like eat your body weight in food, and then you're back to square one. You're like, fuck the gym, I'm not going. It's almost like Kulusevski trying to find form again. But when you get back into that form, no one's stopping you.
Kulusevski plays like, at the moment, Kulusevski's playing like he's got Joe Rogan in his ears while he's playing. He's just got a podcast.
No, he ain't.
Gym playing ham.
He's got fucking David Goggins.
David Goggins, yeah, that's it. He's got David Goggins in his ear.
Keep going, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's literally him, and that's what I mean. Like I could. I'm not. I'll finish it there because I will. I could write an essay on how much I love that guy. I fucking love him.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I kind of said everything there. But I really, really love Kulusevski.
Yeah, you should write back to him. He wrote the letter to the fans.
Why I love you. The Spurs content creators tribune.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I? Yeah. So we are fucking hell. We only an hour and 10 minutes in. We only spoke about Leicester. Did we talk about Leicester? I can't even fucking remember.
Well, we did. We talked about our team,
but oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. So with Leicester, I think everyone's saying they're going to get relegated. Do you think that's fair? Like, do you think that's a fair estimation, or do you reckon people are being a bit harsh, or are they then thinking about the points deduction that's almost inevitable that they're going to get?
Yeah, they've not been good in pre-season either.
I don't know. Yeah. Really, I haven't paid any attention to it. Do you think they will get relegated?
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think it's kind of unfair to make that assumption, but it's also fair given the nature of they do potentially have this points deduction looming, so you can understand why people are just putting 2 and 2 together. And it feels like that squad is not ready for the Premier League yet. Whereas it feels like Ipswich. I mean, look at the business that Ipswich are doing, by the way. Again, it could all go wrong, but I think coupled with that manager, they've signed Calvin Phillips, which fuck me like that. If you can get Calvin Phillips for, well, he's also on loan, but if you can get Calvin Phillips playing the way that he did before he went to Man City, you got a fucking really good player there. They've signed Sammy Schmodic as well, I think. Really good business from Ipswich. And again, they've kept some of that squad together. Southampton, I was really worried about Southampton, but I actually think now it looks like they're signing Leslie Ogochukwu from Chelsea on loan, which I think is a really good signing. Cameron Archer as well, who is someone that is kind of wanting to prove himself at this level. I think that's good business as well. Flynn Downs.
I think they'll still go back. They'll still.
I think they'll go down, but I feel much better about those two than I do about Leicester.
Yeah. Who is it that signed those 2 centre backs that people were talking about from the Championship? Is it Greaves and someone else?
Ipswich signed Greaves and Southampton signed.
Who was it? Oh, Southampton signed that Wood from Swansea that we were linked with before, and they signed that centre back.
He was the one that I talked about him in my YouTube video, didn't I? Was that him, the one from Peterborough?
Yeah. Fucking hell, what was his name? I guarantee some people will listen.
I'm getting
shouting the name at us.
I'm getting the Google Doc up. I'm getting the Google Doc up.
What's his name? There was a Man United fan on Twitter, H.
H.
He does he loved him. Anyway, whilst you get that up, I think Leicester.
Ronnie Edwards.
I do. Yeah, Ronnie Edwards. That's it. But yeah, I think Leicester. I do think they will go straight back down. And I actually think their fans have sort of made peace with it already before balls even being fucking kicked.
Like that, doesn't it? Which isn't a great place to be. You do love to. I fucking hate Leicester.
Yeah, fuck Leicester.
That is also quite a dangerous place to be because that could get toxic very quickly. Like I think, it's almost like, oh yeah, we think we're going to get relegated. You think that now, but when things get really bad, like it's not going to be. Oh well, we already resigned ourselves to going down anyway. That could get quite toxic, I think, at Leicester. I don't think they've been that used by Cooper during pre-season either. There were rumours of him getting fucking resigning today, but he's in the press conference.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Do you think we'll have any issues with them? Like any worries that we should be aware of?
Oh, yeah, I think they're quite good on transition. Like I think that's actually why they're quite set up well under Cooper because they've got Fatawu, they've got Mavadidi.
Patson Daka running behind.
Oh, if he scores
again. Jamie Vardy.
Oh, God. If Vardy scores against us on Monday.
Oh, fucking hell.
Do you know what? It's one of those things.
I really hope Romero just fucking clatters Jamie Vardy straight away. Fuck off. Yeah.
Would you take a Romero red card in the first 5 minutes if it meant Vardy never played football? Oh, I can't say that, can
I? That took a turn.
I just fucking hate him.
I mean, he ain't got many seasons left, does he, Jamie? Or has he? Because he's fueled up on that Red Bull.
Red Bull,
just fucking ready to go all the time. Just getting him behind. But anyways, so do you think we'll have any problems? What do you actually think the score is going to be? And who's going to be our main player as well?
Yeah.
Who's going to be our sort of like who's going to be shining for us?
It's Tottenham away on a Monday night, first game of the season against the newly promoted side. So yeah, I do think we'll have problems. You know, like that game just feels fucking cursed. But
Tottenham heritage.
Oh, this is Tottenham heritage. I think we'll win. I think we'll win 3-1. I think Big Dom's going to get a goal. I think Sonny's going to get. I think we'll coast into a lead. They'll get back into it, and then we'll get a third. I think we'll go 2-0 up. They get one back, and it's like squeaky bum down, and then we'll get a third. I think it will be Solanke gets a goal, gives it the old Selly. I think I'm going to go with Kulusevski, Solanke, and Son to score.
Kulusevski and Solanke.
The front three of dreams.
Yeah. I think. Oh, it's Madison against his old club for the first time as well.
I'd love it.
I wonder how that will get to him being at King Power.
No, give me
I just. I don't.
I'd love that.
Mate, I would love Leicester fans. Leicester.
Oh, they'd be throwing them fucking clappers all in.
Mate,
like, you know.
I know, but Leicester fans would go into meltdown because he was their like golden child when until we got him. And imagine he just started giving him the fucking shush.
I'd love that so much. I would absolutely
imagine Harry Winks scores against us. I'll turn the TV off. And he celebrates as well. Fucking celebrates. Runs to the corner flag. Starts giving a big one.
Yeah.
I'd fucking headbutt my TV, I think, if that happened.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'd be shocked if they scored. I think that's what Alcott was saying. They just don't have enough up front. I mean, unless they fucking score a set piece with Vestergaard or something, which is actually very highly likely to happen. But Fass, Voot Fass, but I think Solanke will score 2, and everyone will be like, "Fuck." Spurs will sign Solanke. He's announced,
Yeah.
And then I think
you're going to captain him in FPL.
Oh, he's vice captain. I've gone for Alexander Isak. I think they're playing like Southampton or something. Are they? I don't know. Yeah. And fuck, maybe I should check that. And then I think it's either Kulusevski. I think it's going to be a random one. Maybe like Romero from a corner or something, or
Odobert. I hear that.
Fresh off that championship buzz.
Odd bud.
He's going to score, mate, and everyone's going to go, "Who the fuck? Who's that?" He's going to have a Steven Bergwijn Stevie Wonder moment where he chests it down. Fuck off. Twats it into the bottom corner. Does the setting.
Did you see Jed Spence was doing it in the media day?
Yeah, I did see that.
Him doing it. I don't know why. Fucking weird.
Yeah. I got flashbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think it will be 2-0. Actually, I think it'll just be Solanke double 2-0. Nice. Well, okay, now on to like season predictions. Who do you think is going to be our best player this season?
I think it'll be. When I did mine on last week or so, I said Romero. I'll still stand by that. I think it'll be Romero. I think he'll prove to everyone really this year. I think people are still outside of Tottenham are still like, not sure, too rash, whatever. That gimmick is going to be done this year. I genuinely believe that. I think he's going to establish himself as like top 5, top 3 centre back in the Premier League easy. I genuinely believe that.
I think
he's that good. He's that good, and people don't want to listen to it because they have made their minds up already about him. But no, I think we Romero
age as well, isn't he? He's reaching that age where you're
26.
Yeah, he seems like he's been about for quite a while, and we signed him and he was so young, and everyone saw it, and he's slowly getting the things like the rashness out of his game, and he's actually very composed now. I think, like now and again, he'll probably have a head loss. But I mean, he wears his heart on his sleeve, so that's like normal. But he's limited it so much, and that experience is coming with a lot more composure, and that's the things he's refining his game each season. And he's just a fucking monster. Like, you see him, he just looks like he's hitting the gym every summer. I thought
that. He's come back big. I thought that.
Mate, he's a fucking tank, mate. And he's showing with his, like, aggression in the air. His aggression anyways, it was there before. But he just looks so much more physical. Yeah. I'd shit my fucking little pants if I was playing up against Romero. I know I'm shit 5-a-side football player. I've never even touched, like,
grass,
11-a-side grass at any like any actual level. But I would shit my pants if I was playing up against Romero, especially now he looks like he's filled out. He's just a fucking monster.
Why would you go into a tackle? Like, why
he's a leader, and oh my god, he's the type of person you try and tackle and you snap your leg.
yeah. Like,
you know what I mean?
Who was it? Who was the Bayern winger that he just completely took out and got the ball the other day when he first came on? It was like, oh
yeah, it was like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, bang!
That's what we doing.
Love that. Yeah. We're back.
Welcome to professional football. I would fucking hate to play against. Anyway, so you think best player?
I think Romero.
I agree. I think Romero. I really hope he stays fit, but also I can see him. I can see him with the Europa League trophy picks and being like, fucking hell, I've got a rock on thinking about it.
Was that ball so much?
Like, genuinely. I think I'll get onto it, but I think he'll win man of the match in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
Against Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah. You can shove your Nico Williams up your ass. Nico Williams
just takes out Nico Williams first 10 minutes.
You know, like that. Was it the John Stones tackle on him?
Should have joined us.
Yeah. Was it the John Stones tackle in the Euros?
Yeah, it was.
Thanks for that game.
That was a good tackle.
Yeah, it was a good tackle.
And you're getting named and shamed. Young player. I'm saying it's either Archie Gray or Bergvall. Is it though, or is it going to be like? It's not going to be Marky Moore. I think. Yeah, but imagine. It's going to be Archie Gray or Bergvall. No,
I'm going to say Bergvall. I think for kind of the reasons that I said earlier, like I think Bergvall is more likely to have that breakthrough year where everybody goes fuck, and then next year I think Gray is the one. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. Just because of the dynamic of the squad where we're at now, like Gray, like we talked about this all earlier, like in terms of where I think Gray's going to like fill in, but I think it might be Bergvall instead of him.
Although if Archie Gray fills in centre back in Europe, right back, centre mid, and he's like just dropping 7, 8 out of 10s every game and not looking phased, I think that actually makes it more likely. Think about like our run to the Europa League win. And like how crucial he was in the sort of like group stage and that. People being like, and he was playing out of position. People might be praising him, and Bergvall, it's probably easier for Gray to play and find positions for him to play than Bergvall if Madders is on form, Kulusevski's on form, etc.
Yeah, but also his mullet looks well cool.
Yeah, it does look good. Although Bergvall just is that sort of, he just looks like that star factor. He's just got that
fucking star boy.
I don't know. It's up between them. I'll say Archie Gray just to counter you.
Yeah, but I think you're actually right. I'm going to say Bergvall, but I actually think you're right. I think it probably will.
Well, I'm going to say Archie Gray, but I actually think you're right.
Yeah, okay.
Do you swap?
Yeah, one of us has said Gray, one of us has said Bergvall.
It's like swapping match attacks in the playground in like year 4.
I've got shiny Bergvall.
He will have a limited edition card in 2 years. I'm telling you that. Most assists, I think Son, or Brennan Johnson, or Werner. But I think Son playing with Solanke. I think Son might get him.
Yeah, or Odobert. No, I think Sonny. I think Sonny being back out on the wing for the whole season, pretty much with a target man, number 9. I think it'll be Sonny. Sonny.
Yeah.
Kulusevski.
Kulu, Madders,
Kulusevski,
Kulusevski, Odobert
and Kulusevski. No, I think Sonny.
Yeah. What about most goals then? Solanke. It's got to be Big Dom, innit? Yeah, it's Big Dom. Yeah. And positions in each competition. Where are you expecting us to finish?
I think we'll finish. I think we'll finish 4th. I do genuinely believe we can push Liverpool for 3rd. I think Liverpool will finish 3rd. I think we could push them. I think the thing is, it's going to be so tough because it's like you've got City and Arsenal, and then you've got a top 6 outside of those two as well. Like Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, and Aston Villa. Tottenham could finish 3rd or 8th. Newcastle could finish
West Ham.
Yeah.
They've got they're pushing us, mate.
So obviously finishing 10th, aren't they? Fuck me. Like Villa could finish 3rd or 8th, you know. It's like it's genuinely that it's so tough, which is why like I want to see a good cup run, because I can forgive us finishing 8th if we go and fucking win the Europa League.
Yeah. also that game changer, so like having Solanke in there, who's durable and fits the system and scores important goals.
Yeah.
That could be the difference between 8th and 3rd. Like you were saying, like that could literally be those 4 points that narrow it down and make a good could be a bad season into a really good strong season and good progression sort of thing. So but I'm gonna say I reckon quarters in the Carabao Cup, semis in a FA Cup, win the Europa League. This is fucking so ambitious. We're doing it. If we get knocked out, I'm gonna be so upset we can't fucking sing the anthem anymore.
I know.
And then I think we'll come 3rd in the Prem.
Okay.
No, I don't. Because to be honest, mate, I thought we were getting either Neto or Eze. Yeah, but I think he'll come really good. It's just like not for the now, and I think unless we sign a really good 6, I think we'll come 4th. 5th.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But
5th could be Champions League though.
Yeah, but we're going to win the Europa League, so we're going to get.
Yeah, we're done. Exactly. Whoa.
Yeah. Come on, sing it with us.
Come on, now, please. The only thing that can stop us winning the Europa League now is Jose Mourinho.
I know he's in it, isn't he? Fucking hell! Nothing would make me fucking more harder than knocking Mourinho out of the cup.
Oh, mate, fuck me. If we got further back chain like the quarters and we knocked them out, I would
and Big Ange goes for the handshake like after the game, after like dicking them 3-0, and like as he goes for the handshake, he just pulls him and gets him a headlock. It's like fucking up there, you cunt.
You wanker.
Yeah, like fucking.
You give him a nugget.
Everyone's like, what the fuck? Did you see what Big Ange does at fucking Jose Mourinho?
Well, you know how like Freemasons handshake, where they handshake and then like they like take the top of your hand. It's like a power move.
Oh,
it's
really?
Just gonna be something like that.
Power move.
You know when Mourinho. No, what it's going to be. You know when Mourinho, when Man United beat us. Yeah, he did that, and then he went like that down the camera, didn't he? After.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
Yeah. Or when he beat Solskjaer, he beat Man United, and he looked at the camera as he like cuddled Solskjaer. Postecoglou just does that, gives a little wink, and then sort of just shoves Mourinho out of the way and like grabs Ryan Mason and Wells. And they just have a hug out.
That's why.
I'd be so
for moments
ecstatic.
like that, that's why I still like Mourinho more than Conte. Just because of like, when you think back to those kind of moments of like Old Trafford where he did that.
Yeah. Although Tuchel and Conte, like that handshake is pretty iconic.
Mate,
isn't it?
How the fuck was that 2 years ago?
I know it's mental, isn't it? Actually mental. But what? So what are you thinking for Europa League then? Like, what are you actually think?
I think. Yeah, I'm going to say we're going to win it. I think we'll get to at least like the quarters at the least, and then what happens from there happens. But I think we'll win it.
Yeah,
I could see us actually going out early in one of the cups and then
meltdown coming. Maybe.
Yeah.
I really want us to go through it in the FA Cup. Like Carabao Cup is the Carabao Cup, but FA Cup is so historic.
Yeah,
and it gets taken for granted.
Man United.
I know everyone says that, but
Man United won it last year.
Yeah, we can fucking do it. Yeah, we can do it.
We're going to do. I think we're going to do the cup treble.
Yeah.
And finish 4th.
Yeah, fucking shove that treble up, we fucking up. Yeah,
we're gonna do it's what Liverpool did, wasn't it? Where it was like they did that, where they won the UEFA Cup, the League Cup, and the FA Cup, and then finished like 6th, I think.
And called it a treble.
Yeah. Respect. I would. Yeah. I would dine out for the rest of my life. I'd probably give up going Spurs.
It would be like when it'd be like when West Ham won the Conference League and now they sing like Champions of Europe. We'll call it a treble if we do that.
I would do exactly the same thing, by the way. I respect West Ham fans for that quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I think so. Exactly I think it's funny. Thing. Yeah, I think people that get rattled by that, it's like just look at yourself in the mirror before you start getting. Yeah. But I do think we've got more of a refined team, quality-wise, more of an excited, like chomping at the bit to try and impress sort of team, not just like clear B team who are so unenthusiastic. So like, it's almost like they're going through the motions, swinging their hands up when they lose their man, and we lose in the 80th minute to like fucking Sheffield United. Do you know what I mean? It's like we have a young team that's chomping at the bit to impress, and I think it's going to prove in Carabao Cups, FA Cups, etc. Last one then, best signing. What do you reckon?
Solanke. If he's going to be top four, Solanke's got to be in it.
Yeah, of course. We've got some loan moves that's happened before we finish up, but I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory. I think they're good in this, and it's the right moves. Scarlett, Donnelly, Devine looks like he's out on loan. We're keeping more in Lancashire. I feel like they're very just smart. They're just smart, and I think that was expected. So I don't think we want to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
Next podcast, we didn't have time for it today. Because I actually didn't realize how long this podcast was going on for. If you're still with us, legends. But it was a bit of fun anyways. But we want to do an ex-player, like the ex-11 players under Ange that would like suit Ange's system to a T. So get in the comments. Just shout out players that would absolutely thrive under Ange Postecoglou, or DM us, and we can start posting and seeing people's thoughts on an ex-11 of perfect Ange players. I'm saying fucking Luka Modric, advanced state, Dembele.
Oh mate,
Aaron Lennon.
The problem is with this the problem is with this though is that we're just naming good players that used to play for Spurs.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Ledley King, Greaves,
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
I put a tweet out about this asking for suggestions that went triple platinum. Where is it? I can't find it now. I got so many responses, so we can go through some of them. I'll try and find the tweet. It literally.
We'll have to do it for next pod. Like we'll have to actually write it down and explain like why one by one, like why you're going for because I think you were saying Jermaine Defoe as well. And I swear you've said that before. Like under Ange would be so good.
Prime Defoe under Ange would literally be the perfect. He'd score 30 goals.
Yeah, I agree. He would, and I'm excited to see, because even stuff like fullbacks, or centre backs, or goalkeeper, what goalie had good distribution before?
Robinson, he scored a goal, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
The tweet that I put out got 500,000 views.
Really?
Over 500 responses. So we can go through some of them. But basically, they all are Gareth Bale. They're all Gareth Bale and Moussa Dembele, but there'll be some gems in there we can pick out as well. And Aaron Lennon as well.
I feel like Trippier right back, inverted right back would be really good.
Yeah, actually would be.
He'd replicate Porro.
Yeah, Danny Rose.
Anyway, we'll get into it.
Ben Morris,
Suakoto. Michael Dawson.
Imagine Gareth Bale was the inverted left back.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. And then we have room for what? Another wing on it.
Andros
can go. Andros Townsend kind it to the byline, just fucking picking it back to Defoe.
Yeah,
I'm not what we're saying. This team's finishing fucking 10th.
Tom Huddleston in the middle.
Huddleston. Oh my god! Fucking hell! Yeah, he's just pinging it about, spraying it. Man, that was telepathy, mate. That was insane.
That's there.
But yeah, get us. That is there and doing. Get your comments down below, and also let us know how you feel about the pod.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe or follow on Spotify, and everyone. Thank you so much.
Big season ahead.
Big season. Up the Spurs. Come on. Let's start the season strong with some 3 points.
Bosh! I was going to sing a song about Wilson Odobert.